to the sit, J 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 to the sit,
J to the S-I-N.
J to the sit, 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 J to the sit,
J to the S-I-N.
Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen, you are now tuned in to the J2dasin show. I'm your host, J2dasin, the KC veteran. All I do is win, guaranteed to make your girl grin. No chasing the gin, all facts, no spin. And hating on him's like taking a piss facing the wind. Tell a friend, bitch. And I'm your host with the most, that's here to give you the truth that's culturally unbiased, politically incorrect, and with all due respect. And without further ado, let's get right into it. It's my first segment on my first show. It's called the WTF Report, and I promise, you ain't ready. It's the WTF Report. It's the WTF Report. It's the WTF Report. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, the WTF Report on J2dasin.com, J2dasin Show. And the first topic is a light one. I hope you find this as hilarious as I do. It's your favorite app, TikTok. TikTok has a deal on the table with the company Oracle and Walmart, of all people. Oracle and Walmart are expected to actually take significant stakes in the company. The company is called ByteDance, that owns TikTok and has agreed to the security safeguards on the data of U.S. users. TikTok's data would be stored by Oracle, which would have the right to inspect the source code. The deal also proposes to come with a $5 billion education fund and will reportedly create 25,000 U.S. jobs. Can't be mad at that, man. You can't be mad at that at all. We'll see if it goes through. Still has to be approved by the Chinese government. The U.S. government, of course, has approved this, being that it came through executive order, which Donald Trump claims that TikTok could be possibly, taking U.S. data from U.S. users and turning them over to the Chinese government, which, of course, the company ByteDance that owns TikTok has denied. However, for me, I of course believe it has to do with the Tulsa, Oklahoma rally, where TikTok users took this rally and registered for more than 1 million tickets and actually had Donald Trump believing these were real registered tickets. Even his son tweeted it, and just to show up to the venue and it be half full. One of the greatest stunts I think I've seen for all of 2020. Shout out to the TikTok subscribers that put that together and made that happen. Salute to you. TikTok is also going on record stating that the company has actually attempted to engage with the U.S. government for nearly a year in good faith, and said what they encountered instead was that the administration paid no attention to facts, dictated terms of an agreement without going through legal standard processes, and tried to insert itself in negotiations between private businesses. They also said that the new executive order risks undermining global businesses' trust in the United States' commitment to the rule of law, adding that it sets a dangerous precedent for the concept of free expression and open markets. This is your great businessman that has multi-million-dollar companies saying this about them. Like, your man tried to come in there and bully the company because of what they did to him at the rally. That's hilarious. So we're going to keep an eye on this, see what happens between Oracle, Walmart, and TikTok, and if it becomes a U.S. company, and see what kind of jobs, or if that $5 billion education fund actually surfaces. I'm going to keep an eye on this. Next up on the WTF Report, starting my show, I didn't believe that I would have this story to actually talk about at this time, but actually here it is. Another black man has been shot and killed by the police. Cops in Wolf City, Texas, hour northeast of Dallas, have shot and killed Mr. Jonathan Price, and the media has been relatively silent on this one. Very interesting. Civil rights lawyer Lee Merritt, who represents Mr. Price's family, was told that when the police arrived, he had raised his hands and attempted to explain what was going on. Police fired tasers at him, and when his body convulsed from the electrical current, they perceived a threat and shot him to death. Witnesses actually said a man and woman were in an argument, and Mr. Price had tried to step in. The man assaulted Price, and when officers arrived, they used the taser on Price before they shot and killed him. Now, we have a narrative here with a black man who is, number one, not a criminal at all, regarded as a pillar of his community. Two, not committing a crime at all when the police were called. And number three, he was unarmed. And guess what happens with the media? Crickets. All the pro-police right-wing media completely silent. And actually, even mainstream media hasn't reported on it. But guess what they did report on? 2 days after the incident, the cop who shot Mr. Price has now been charged with murder. The Texas Department of Public Safety released a statement saying that the officer's actions did not seem objectively reasonable and were not justifiable force. The camera footage on this must be really devastating. Now, the cop who murdered Mr. Price is 22-year-old Sean Lucas, who graduated from the academy in March and began working with the department in April. And here it is 6 months later that he has murdered an innocent black man. I mean, what in the entire fuck? Huh? People, what's going on here? Now, Dallas-based attorney Robert Rogers, who just so happens to be the same attorney that represented Amber Geiger in the Botham Jean case, where she entered his apartment and killed him. Mr. Rogers maintains that Price physically resisted and ignored his client's commands during the deadly encounter. He goes on to say that Mr. Price resisted the effects of the taser and attempted to take it away from Officer Lucas. Officer Lucas only discharged his weapon in accordance with Texas law when he was confronted with an aggressive assailant who was attempting to take his taser. Is this what the surveillance footage shows? Now, what's even more interesting about this case is the feedback that I'm seeing from a lot of the black community. See, Mr. Price was vocal about his views on police in a Facebook post where he explained his experiences growing up in that area. The post read that his point of view on cops basically was off his experiences. In this post, he explained how the families that looked out for him and took care of him were white families, and that his own blood didn't even look out for him. So I guess you could understand some bias in that situation. Is that not correct? He states numerous times he was pulled over by cops and was sent on his way when he should have been arrested. These are his experiences. Then you should be able to understand his point of view, but because of his point of view, some people are saying he doesn't deserve outrage, that he doesn't deserve the same energy as other people have been killed by the police. But now we have a man who not only is his reputation preceded himself with the community as a stand-up guy and actually quoted as a pillar of his community, but his Facebook post that he hasn't experienced the same type of hate or racism from cops in his life, that he doesn't deserve his name to be uplifted by the community due to the first bad experience with the law enforcement that actually cost him his life. That's pretty hypocritical, isn't it? Now, we got a guy who was doing the right thing and was murdered by a rookie cop with unjustifiable force, and the community is quiet. Wow, I'm shocked. The problem we have today with the police is not funding, it's not training, it's qualified immunity. And once this is banned from law enforcement, it will weed out the bad cops, and abuse of power will come probably not to a complete halt, but sure as hell will slow down. And that's the only way it's going to happen. As long as police officers know the system is going to protect them from senseless murders, there's some that will continue to do it. That's just the facts, man. So this case is actually important because the only thing they have is qualified immunity. And if they use it on this case, there is no hope in ever getting justice in America as a minority. The condolences goes out to his family and his friends and his co-workers and his community. Okay? Period. We can't pick and choose who we're going to represent when it comes to injustice. This has to be across the board until injustice stops. Pay attention to the powers that be and their actions on this one. They have nothing to hang the decision on in their favor. We can't be picking and choosing, like I said before, who we represent for when it comes to justice. Now, I'm going to keep an eye on this and see how this turns out. And once again, rest in peace to Jonathan Price, and my condolences to his family. Next up, on the WTF report, people, now this right here is why I had to get my platform started. And we living in the craziest days and times right now, and most of us need to unplug from the matrix and just get that brutal truth. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I aim to do here at the J2dasin show. Now, we're 2 weeks away from the 2020 presidential election, and this is going to be an epic one, and you know it. Unlike 2016, and right now the guy that's sitting in the seat of the president is trying to pull off every publicity stunt possible. So let me just first and foremost put out there that I'm independent. I don't care about anybody's party. I recognize the corruption on both sides, and I'm too much of a rebel to even be biased to anyone for that matter. But as an American, I'm not one of these people that don't participate in the game but want to complain all the damn time. Now, I'm going to participate and I'm going to educate myself on just the facts and leave it at that. No spin, no agenda, just the facts and leave it at that. Now, with that said, understand, I've never been supportive of this administration simply because I saw the plan and the goal all the way back in 2014. When they blocked Merrick Garland from getting his Supreme Court seat, I saw the Republican plan then. However, that's not even the main reason why I don't support this administration. And I'll get back to that in a second. But first, let's just look at where we are here 2 weeks out from this election, people. The guy in the seat of the president has tried to pull off every publicity stunt in the book to try to repair the damage to his reputation in these past few years. The past weekend, he supposedly had tested positive for COVID-19. He continued to move through the country and gave it to a lot of his people in his administration. He actually ends up taking a trip to the hospital. In the hospital, he's acting like he's working. Then he steps out of the hospital, clearly still going through the shit, drives around the hospital for a parade for what? Well, how many people was out there? Like 30? Are y'all serious? For a photo op? And then 3 days later, he's back in the White House with his mask off like he's cured. Get the fuck... What the... Man, stop it, bro. Stop with the bullshit, man. For real. And I mean, that's got to be a slap in the face to the people that are in the hospital right now suffering from COVID and not getting the treatment that he got, that got him back to work in 3 days. Come on, man. Is this supposed to generate people to want to vote for you? Are you serious? Nobody believes this bullshit. Nobody believes in this bullshit. But puppets. If you got something or any type of treatment that's getting you better and out the door in 3 days, you need to have that in the hands of every hospital within the next day. Are you serious? But then you get back and you realize that the debate that you had, which was horrible, the publicity stunt that you just pulled, isn't getting you any more popular, and you're actually losing in the polls dramatically. So you go off and tweet that the stimulus package is canceled? Come on, man. Are you serious? And then you say, once I win, you'll sign the stimulus package immediately? That is holding the stimulus package for ransom, is it not? Can somebody clarify that for me? And somebody must have gotten to you, because the following day you tweet out to Pelosi that you're ready to sign a standalone bill for just the $1,200 for the American people. Bruh. And this is a great business, man. This is making America great. Man, y'all don't fucking stop playing with me. Stop playing with me, people. We've watched now the presidential debate. We've watched the vice presidential debate. And neither one of them were impressive, to be honest with you. I'm going on record today stating that in 2 weeks, when Trump realizes he's lost, he will not concede. He will throw a hissy fit. So will his supporters. And it's going to get a little ugly. But we all know that the popular vote is not going in Trump's favor, just like it didn't in 2016. And mail-in voting has not provided any statistics of fraud that makes their excuses valid, so y'all can shut up with that bullshit. Forget a mail-in ballot. I'm going to the polls in person and making sure my vote is in with my mask on, goddammit. But I said at the beginning, my main reason isn't any of this that I've said to you at this point, to be honest with you. My main reason is a question that I'll actually pose to the people. And you can answer in the comments, or you can reach out to me at J2dasin and we can talk about it. But if you are an owner of a successful business, and I mean a Fortune 500 company, right? And it's time for you to let someone else run your business and retire, would you give the keys to the business to a person who is unqualified and inexperienced in the industry your business is in? I know the hell I wouldn't. And if you say that you would, then that's because everything in the world has advantages and disadvantages. And one of the disadvantages to freedom is willful ignorance. And there's no better description of what we're seeing right now and have seen for the past 4 years, but willful ignorance. No one with common sense would put an unqualified, inexperienced person in charge of their business. But we currently have that situation in the White House right now. If you were to ask the question to all Republicans, Democrats, or the government, I'm willing to bet 99% would say they wouldn't put an unqualified, inexperienced person in charge of their business. I'm here 2 weeks in advance to report on it, because this is about to be a crazy 2 weeks. And the real shit show is going to start, because Trump is definitely not going to accept that he is lost. So what really needs to happen here is by the end of November 3rd, we need to see the numbers that clearly show who is won and who is out. Even if mail ballots are still out there, it won't even matter. I mean, as I'm speaking right now, he has now dropped another video. Check this out.
So, to my favorite people in the world, the seniors, we have medicines right now, and I call them a cure. I went into the hospital a week ago. I was very sick, and I took this medicine, and it was incredible. It was incredible. I could have walked out the following day, sooner. It was incredible the impact it had. And we're going to make that and others that are similar to it, almost identical, we're going to make them available immediately. We have an emergency use authorization that I want to get signed immediately. The FDA has moved at a level that they've never moved before. Things that would take 2, 3, 4 years are taking a matter of weeks or even sooner than that. And that's because of me. We're taking care of our seniors. You're not vulnerable, but they like to say the vulnerable, but you're the least vulnerable. But for this one thing, you are vulnerable, and so am I. But I want you to get the same care that I got. I got incredible care at Walter Reed, incredible doctors, And this medicine in particular, one medicine was unbelievable. You're going to get the same medicine. You're going to get it free, no charge. And we're going to get it to you soon. And the nice part is it's made by a number of companies. It's totally safe, but it's powerful against this disease. So we're going to get it out to you. We're going to take care of our seniors, all free.
The experimental treatments that you got are now going out to all seniors for free. No name of the company, but you're going to get it for free. What the Man, listen. This dude is delusional. And I see also that Pelosi has now got out here and she's trying to pull the 25th Amendment out. Rightfully so. Like I said, we just getting started in these 2 weeks. What's about to happen in these next 2 weeks is going to be incredible. But we're going to need all you people to get out here and put your vote in. Next up, the WTF report, Jaguar Right. Wow. Now, as an independent music artist myself, I have got to report on the industry when things get hot. And right now, the hot topic going around is Jaguar Right. I mean, she is going ham on the industry right now. In her online interviews and rants, she is exposing a lot of information. And here at the J2dasin show, you know, we don't get into the he say, she say stuff, you know. If you don't have any receipts, especially if you're telling stories of a story you heard from another person who experienced it, you know, that's just all speculation and gossip, and we don't like to participate in that. So I'm not going to be actually speaking on what she was saying about the artist in particular, because that's them. A lot of the artists that she's speaking on in this have already responded, and a lot of them are claiming that she's having a mental breakdown because her career didn't, you know, elevate to the levels of the other people that she is speaking on. And, you know, she sounds like a disgruntled employee in a sense. However, a lot of the stuff that she's saying in general about the industry is what I actually want to report on. I mean, she's dropping actually a lot of jewels that a lot of you young artists that are coming up right now trying to get into the game need to take heed and really understand, especially when it comes to female artists in hip-hop. Check this out.
Let me ask you this: like any female entertainer or artist trying to do music, right?
Yeah.
What would be your advice to them? You know what I mean? Oh.
Unless you built for it. I would never wish this career on any woman. There's only 3 different kinds of careers in this world where a woman's safety and respect for her body are totally disregarded. Strippers, sex workers, and female entertainers. My advice to any female who wants to get into this business: have a thick skin, do not drink alcohol, never get high in front of anybody, keep somebody close to you that you know at all times.
So you get a chance to go check out these interviews that she's doing and the rants that she's doing online, man. I really want artists today that are out there trying to get into this game to check what she's saying about the game in general. The things that she's saying about particular artists ain't got nothing to do with you. We ain't got no receipts, so you can believe it or not. But take heed to what she's saying. Look at the pain that she's been through. She's definitely had a traumatic experience in life. She's definitely admitted to doing things her own self. So as an artist, as an independent artist, I've always heard these things, but you have to sometimes, after hearing it so many times, think about, is there any real truth to this? You know, who, of course, the things that she's saying, people are not just going to come out and, oh yeah, I did that, you know. But without receipts, like I said before, I'm not into the gossip, not into the he say, she say shit. So, you know, y'all can keep that to yourselves. But these jewels that she's dropping, pay attention. And we all wish the best for Jaguar and everybody that she's going in on. So, on the flip side, though, of the industry, we got congratulations that's due to the brother Waka Flocka Flame. He is now Dr. Waka Flocka Flame, as he has received an honorary doctorate for philanthropy and humanitarianism. That's awesome, man. This is something that definitely has to be celebrated. This is a big win for hip-hop. This is a big win for the hood. And this is a big win for mental health and suicide prevention, which this man has now dedicated his life to. It's awesome, man. It's something that I definitely had to report on. Salute to hip hop for this one, because this is great news. Can't wait to see what this brother continues to do on his journey and his new path that he has discovered through hip hop. And last but not least, on the WTF report, man, they done tried to kidnap the damn governor of Michigan. What the On Thursday, the FBI said it had busted up a plot alleged by militiamen who had planned to hold a treason trial. Man, come on, man. And 13 men at this point have now been charged. An undercover source that was attending a June meeting in Ohio, because these clowns were actually trying to recruit off of Facebook. They actually ended up getting an undercover FBI agent wearing a wire that taped everything. The members had discussed overthrowing state governments that they believed were violating the U.S. Constitution. And it's interesting how today's society, because they have purchased a machine gun, M16, an AR-15, now that they feel they are the ones who get to determine what is violating the U.S. Constitution. It's crazy. These individuals have been accused of being affiliated with white nationalist groups that are avid supporters of the current administration. The group actually wished that they would have gathered 200 men to storm the Capitol building and take hostages, including the governor. They had hoped to enact their plan before the November presidential election, and if that failed, they planned to attack the governor at her home, from what officials said. But y'all couldn't even get 20 people up. Really? And what was y'all gonna do? Seriously, like, what the hell were y'all gonna do? Y'all gonna demand something? Huh? You do know once you become a domestic terrorist, the military is coming after your ass? And did you think Trump was gonna save you? Did you think he was gonna give you what you asked for, what you were demanding for? Get the fuck out of here. Y'all special kind of stupid, man. Seriously. Back in May, armed protesters opposed to the COVID lockdown stormed the state capitol. The Michigan Attorney General confirmed on Thursday that 2 of the men photographed at the May protest are among the arrested plot suspects. The 6 men charged by the federal authorities each face 1 count of federal conspiracy, which carries a sentence up to life in prison. The 7 men charged with state crimes could face penalties of between 2 and 20 years in prison. For what? For what? Keep it real. For what? This concludes the WTF report and is actually a great segue to my next segment on the J2dasin show. And I like to call it the J2dasin moment. Gather round, ladies and gentlemen. It is now time to have a come to J2dasin moment. And ladies and gentlemen, it is the Come to J2dasin moment, and it is brought to you today by militiamen. I mean, this has probably got to be the worst look at Americans today. Militiamen? Really? I mean, have you ever saw a poor excuse for a lazy motherfucker then they claim he's in a militia? That's not an opinion. The very so-called leader of the clowns that were just arrested in Michigan is reported to be some down on his luck white dude whose girlfriend kicked him out because he was broke, and he feels like the government is going to take my guns.
Him and his girlfriend broke up in Kalamazoo, and he came here homeless, and he had the 2 dogs. So I let him stay here.
Fox was living in the shop's basement, accessed through a utility closet and door in the floor. He had a bedroom down there, and Titus says a growing anger against the government, the mask mandate.
More on edge because of the lockdown. He always says is against the Constitution for what's going on. Afraid they're going to start just getting your Second Amendment rights, taking your weapons away.
So what do? You find some dudes that's just like you and just as dumb as you, and think because you practice shooting in the woods, you're authorized and experienced to take over a government building? Really? Really? This is what we've come to, America? Huh? I mean, this dude said it best with all you white nationalist groups or militias, whatever you want to call yourselves are.
Neo-Confederate, Nazi, white supremacist, anti-government hillbilly running around playing Call of Duty in the woods.
Bam! I mean, you couldn't get a better description than that. But of course, it's not what he believes he is.
I'm a freaking Marine Corps veteran, and I'm doing what I do.
You're actually a disgrace to the uniform, bucko. But let's just state facts for a second. The United States military is sworn to protect this country and its citizens from terrorist, foreign, and what? Domestic. And you, sir, at the very moment you decide that you are going to raise your weapon at an American in a motion to kill, you in that very instant become a domestic terrorist. Do you guys even got enough people to take on all the branches of the military at once? Hell, I don't believe you even have enough to take on the National Guard, nevertheless the entire military. And you all know this. So what are you really going to do? Huh? This particular one here is called the 3% militia, whatever. Because truthfully, that's about as much of a chance as they have of winning a battle with the U.S. government. They only have up to like 10,000 members across the country. A country with 329 million people. Man, if you don't sit the fuck down, then you claim that you want to uphold the legacy of the constitutional rights against perceived enemies, foreign and domestic. Stop it. But what does the media majority of the people feel about your belief?
We don't talk to media because we know that they're going to hack us and make us look like, dumbasses or radicals.
I really don't see how you look like anything else. It's so interesting that these people that they want to call themselves Christians, but you also have to be conservative and have strong convictions towards the Constitution. What kind of freedom is that? That's not freedom, sir. Freedom is the ability to choose how you feel, when you want to feel it, and what you believe in. And the fact that you feel one way is the very reason another can feel differently. Especially when the actual facts show and prove different than what you believe. But we all know your belief is not the majority of the country and therefore doesn't in any way, shape, or form give you the authority to determine what is. But hell, when you look at who they are looking at as so-called leaders, this is what you get.
Young African American, an immigrant, you can go anywhere in this state. You just need to be conservative, not liberal.
See, they don't mind you being another race, long as you're what they want you to be. Why? Because you're spending your money on ammunition every weekend preparing for martial law or a nuclear attack?
Move quick if I get some information that says there's a martial law, there's a nuclear attack, there's a chemical or biological situation. I'm getting prepared for anything short of a nuclear bomb landing on my forehead and killing me. I want to survive it.
Come on, son. I don't believe that bullshit at all. It's so interesting to me that these people can take the very thing that they are and try to blame it on other people.
But they're all, you know, fighting for the same cause, the same, you know, bullshit belief that everything Southern, everything Confederate, you know, has to be removed because it's associated with slavery. It's ignorant, it's fascist, and it's straight up terrorism is what it is.
The alt-right groups are not trying to help anyone. They feel they are protecting something, which is their racist ways and history, but then get a minority spokesperson to chime in to make it look like it's not what it is. For example,
nothing about this militia is racist at all. Yeah, we have, you know, rebel, you know, flag and whatnot, but the rebel flag is just a flag. It's a piece of cloth. It was an American flag. It wasn't the best of times, but it was an American flag. It's our heritage. It does not mean anything. It's a piece of cloth.
all skin folk ain't your kinfolk, people. Take the guns from these people, and what do you have? Seriously, do you have a militia then? This guy here is a paralegal that does bankruptcies. Man, stop it. He even says himself.
You know, I mean, I'm nothing, really. I mean, I'm just Chris Hill up in the freaking attic, you know, doing my shit in the computer and fucking running around on the weekends, doing target practice,
But this is a militia leader. And shit like this doesn't make it any better.
Like me to condemn.
White supremacists and right-wing militia.
Stand back and stand by.
These clowns actually took the statement as if it was a dog whistle, as if he was going to give a green light later. Don't believe me?
He said stand back and stand by. What did you take that to mean?
Basically, he says, guys, wait for my orders. And that's exactly what we're waiting for.
Utterly ridiculous. And now that they are getting media coverage because of the man sitting in the seat of the president, they're a drinking club.
Proud Boys is a drinking club with a political.
Is that how you would define it? Okay.
That wants to get drunk and beat up people that they don't agree with. Man, stop it. The only reason you're calling yourselves a boy is because you have an immature mentality. Men don't do this type of shit that you're doing. Period. Now this here is what I want to point out. Because see, the strategy of the right-wing people is to reverse the context of the situation. And if you notice everything they blame on the opposition. They are fascist, and they think anti-fascists are terrorists. They are racist, and they think anti-racist groups are racist. So listen to this.
It's because we make self-defense look like assault.
Self-defense look like assault. See, this is the type of shit that we just saw in Wisconsin, where Kyle Rittenhouse, who got a protester to chase after him, and once he got behind a vehicle, he turned and murdered the guy and screamed self-defense. See, these guys are talking big shit, but they also want to be attacked, because that's the only way the law will protect them from murder. But my thing is, the very things they complain about that is the reason for their existence is something everyday Americans can't take away from you. First Amendment rights and Second Amendment rights. This is something the government will have to do. And if they do it, which nobody has said they would, and doubt anyone would try, which makes the whole premise of their existence bullshit, what are these groups really gonna do? The problem is they keep gaslighting ignorant people thinking they will get to do something.
We're all just at home, hanging out, or we're on vacation like me right now, watching you idiots behave the way you do, waiting for that one tweet, that one emergency text message from the fucking President of the United States that gives us the green light to finish this entire thing in under an hour.
This guy actually has on his website that he's a life coach. And how about this one?
It's because if Trump wins, Black Lives Matter and all them other Antifa dumbasses are going to try to start war. We ready. Don't worry. We ready. Us rednecks and stuff, we ready for y'all. But if Biden wins, We coming, and we coming strong.
You coming strong where, sir? Where you coming to? You need to come to J2dasin for a moment, so you can understand that you need to sit down and shut the fuck up. Civil rights movement started the Civil War, and the racists lost. What's supposed to start at this time? Donald Trump losing an election? Man, get the fuck out of here. Okay? Get the fuck out of here with that nonsense. If he loses, he loses. If he wins, he wins. Millions upon millions are about to vote against Trump, and you think you're going to do something with your small group that's mad because you believe he is required 8 years, or believe he deserves it automatically, especially after what has happened in these past 4 years? Stop it. Stop it for a second. What is a riot going to do? Nothing. You want people to riot if he loses because you believe this is an opportunity for you to come into the streets and murder someone and scream self-defense. Wake up, people. This racist bullshit that you want to try to disguise as patriotism is getting old. The time has come for hate groups to be federally charged, and we'll see how many of you clowns ready to step out there and be racist when the consequences are 25 to life. We'll see if you're screaming that you're a patriot when you're screaming from a cell because you don't have your rights anymore. Remember, the 13th Amendment says slavery was abolished unless you're a criminal. I don't believe that it's ever been said more profound.
And now, with 45 in office preaching hate at the highest levels of our country, it has energized folks who traditionally would be in their mom's basement talking that rhetoric.
Seriously, people, come to J2dasin and have a moment to recognize what the truth is. Evolution doesn't go backwards. We're not going back to the old days, we're going to the future. And in the future, the consequences for racism need to be severe and consistent. Until then, the protest will continue, the fight will continue, and the righteous will prevail every single time. That's the show for today. I want to thank you for taking the time out. Hope to see you next time on the J2dasin show. Once again, I'm J2dasin, the KC veteran. No need to pretend, cause all I do is win. Comfy in my skin, all facts, no spin. This has been a break in the matrix. Now time to put your ass back in. Tell a friend. Bitch.
So just to be clear, if Trump wins, then the election is not fraudulent. If Biden wins, then it is fraudulent.
Absolutely.
J2dasin, 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 J2dasin.
J to the S-I-N.